lights up on the exterior of a cottage. It appears to be the late afternoon or early evening. There is ambient sounds of nature around the stage, birds chirping, wind rustling, etc. There is freshly fallen snow on the ground as, slowly, a figure steps out from inside the cottage and walks onto the stage. This is Peter. Peter is clearly not your typical young boy. He does not seem carefree or happy in the slightest. In fact, he seems to have a deadly serious anger etched onto his face. He quietly, calmly, walks over to a small compartment shed near the front door of the cottage he exited from. He opens the shed and gingerly pulls out a small hunting rifle from within. He eyes the rifle with a serious reverence. Nodding in satisfaction, he reaches into the shed and pulls out a box of shells. He loads a few of them into the rifle with an almost mechanical precision. Then, with the rifle at the ready, he slowly begins to set out onto the stage. A slowed, melancholy, almost ominous version of Peter's theme from the Peter and the Wolf Symphony by Sergei Prokofiev plays. Peter grips the hunting rifle in his hands as he walks away from the cottage. Soon, a second figure, that of a teenage girl, peeks out from the door of the cottage. She spots Peter and quickly puts on a babushka, then sets off to follow him. Peter is now in a clearing of snow as the girl catches up to him.
Peter! Peter!
What is it?
Peter, what on earth are you doing out here in the cold, with only that flimsy little coat on? You'll catch pneumonia at this rate.
Sonia, go back inside.
Peter, don't speak to me in such a fashion.
Go back inside. I'll be back home in an hour.
Is that Father's old hunting rifle?
And if it is?
You're going out to look for it again, aren't you?
That was my plan, yes.
Peter, stop. Stop walking and look at me. Peter, I said stop. I'm your older sister. Therefore, you need to show me respect and listen when I speak.
I don't need to do anything towards you. You might be my older sister. That doesn't mean you can boss me around. Mother is the one I defer to. Mother and grandfather, too. Not you.
I defer to them as well, but it's a chain of command. I am older than you. Therefore, you listen when I talk.
Good luck with that.
Ugh. You disrespectful little brat. You never acted this way towards Jacob. You always listened to him, even though he was 2 years younger than me.
Peter stops dead in his tracks and turns back to Sonia. He frowns and points a shaky finger at her.
Don't you ever utter his name in such a negative tone. Ever! He was my hero. I looked up to him.
Don't you think I know that? For goodness sake, he was my brother too. I loved him as well. You weren't the only one who cried tears over his death. I sobbed myself to sleep for days and days after that. That thing got him in the woods. That horrible, menacing
Wolf.
Yes, that wolf.
Peter stares silently at Sonia. Her tone softens a bit as she goes over to Peter and puts a hand to his cheek gently.
Peter, dear, sweet little Peter, I understand. I know it hurts. It hurts me too. My heart is broken over what happened to Jacob. And though it might get better in time, it'll never fully heal for me. And I know you feel the same way too. You and Jacob were like the best of friends. You adored him, and he adored you. I can't tell you how many times he'd tell me, "That Peter, he's the greatest younger brother a boy can ever have. Someday, he's going to do great things, that Peter."
He really said that?
All the time.
All the more why I need that wolf needs to be taken care of.
No.
No?
What I mean is, yes, that wolf needs to be destroyed. But by men, trained hunters. There are many of that type in this village. Men who have trained for years and years to properly and safely hunt wolves. Peter, you're only 10. I don't think you've ever shot a hunting rifle once in your life. Whenever Father and Jacob would go hunting and you'd tag along, you'd just watch them shoot at deer and birds and rabbits, wouldn't you?
Yes. But Jacob taught me enough about how to fire this rifle ever since Father passed it down to him. I know what I'm doing.
Do you really, though? Can you say you do with a straight face? Look him in the eyes with the same conviction.
I can handle it.
I don't think so.
Who are you to assume that? I wouldn't expect you to understand. Women cook and clean the house. Men like me hunt.
You, a man. That's a laugh.
You've got some nerve.
I mean, you're not a man yet. Once you turn 18, you will be. But that's still 8 long years away. So come on. Come, Peter. Let's get back to the cottage before Mother and Grandfather suspect you've slipped out.
No.
Peter turns and goes to walk off again. Sonia has had it. She grabs Peter by the arm and turns him back to face her.
I'm putting my foot down. I said we're going back to the cottage. And I mean it. We are both going back together. I'm not leaving the spot without you next to me. Now let's go.
I won't. I won't go back until I find that damn wolf and blow it to Kingdom Come.
Peter, stop this talk at once. At once, please. I beg of you. Peter, my heart can't take any more loss. Ever since Father passed away, after becoming ill a few years ago, then Jacob being killed by a wolf, Grandfather is getting so sickly and weak lately. Mother fears he might be succumbing to old age, and Mother herself, she's been bearing all of the responsibility of taking care of us. She's so very tired, so very fragile. I've been trying to help her, but she still just seems so drained of life. Oh, Peter, if that wolf were to get you as well, I'd surely die of a broken heart. Please, my dear, sweet angel of a brother, if you care even a small bit about me, you'll come back to the cottage. Please, Peter love, please.
I don't care how many tears you shed. I'm not moved by them. I'm going to find that wolf, and none of your sobbing and weeping will convince me otherwise. But shoo off. Take yourself away from me. You shrew. You cow. Do you hear me? Shove off.
Sonia can take no more. She frowns and roughly slaps Peter across the face. Peter stumbles a few steps. The rifle drops to the snow. Silence. Peter looks up at Sonia. His anger now replaced by shock, surprise, and hurt. He rubs his cheek slowly and silently.
You slapped me. You never slapped me before. Sonia, why?
I'll put up with a lot of things, Peter, but I will not let you call me such horrible names. I will not let you put your hands on me. You little brat, you beast!
She grabs the rifle from the ground and shoves it back into Peter's hands. She holds back sobs as she speaks.
You want to go play hunter and find this wolf? Fine! Be my guest! Go and hunt him down till the end of time for all I care. I pray he doesn't hurt you or tear out your throat like he did to Jacob. But if he does, I have no more tears left to shed. If you're going to act like this to me, I shall not cry one single tear. Go on. Go and find this damn wolf. See if I care.
Sonia storms off. Peter watches her go. He looks remorseful at first, but slowly it is replaced by anger and disdain.
Fine, I'm gonna kill that damn wolf, and I couldn't care less if you shed no tears. I hate you. I hate you.
Peter rushes off in the opposite direction. Blackout. Scene change. Peter slowly comes back in on a clearing of trees. He is now deep in a forest. He peers around and narrows his eyes as he keeps his rifle at the ready. He is silent as he looks and listens for any noises. Soon, we hear the rustling of leaves and what sounds like something scampering around. Peter points the rifle about. Could it be the wolf?
Is it him? Can it be?
Soon, we hear the howling of a wolf, an almost mocking kind of howl. Peter whirls around frantically, trying to spot the source of the howl. After several moments of nothing, he stops dead center in the stage.
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you, God damn it? Show yourself so I can blow your head off.
Another almost mocking howl. Peter is almost in a psychotic frenzy.
You took my brother away from me, away from my family. I'm gonna send you to hell. Just watch.
Peter hears footsteps approaching again. He aims his rifle at the source of the noise, though we can see his hands are shaking out of pure nervous fear. He squeezes the trigger, but nothing happens. He frantically looks to the rifle.
Why won't it shoot? Why won't it shoot? I just loaded it like Jacob told me. Why the hell won't it shoot?
The footsteps grow closer. Peter tries to fix the jam in the rifle, but only succeeds in dropping it to the ground. He goes to pick it up, but the footsteps are now too close. Peter prepares for a wolf to appear, but to his shock, we see it is a person who has walked out on stage. It is Jacob, Peter and Sonia's deceased brother. His clothes are tattered and ripped rags, and his skin is pale blue, as if he has been in the cold for days and days. He also has his throat somewhat mangled and torn, where the wolf got him. Peter eyes Jacob with a wide-eyed fear as Jacob walks towards him silently. Soon, Peter manages to stutter out words.
Yeah. Jacob.
Peter. Hello.
Jacob. Dear God, it's you. Oh, brother, it's you.
He reaches out to hug Jacob, who backs away a few steps and shakes his head no.
I'm afraid that won't do, little brother. You'll pass right through me. I'm a wandering spirit, a ghost. You jammed the rifle. For the record, you didn't load those bullets properly. Didn't Father and I teach you to do that properly?
Oh, Jacob, it's terrible. It's a disaster. I was trying to avenge you, brother. I set out to find that wolf, but all I've gotten is misery and distractions.
Distractions, Like what happened with you and Sonia?
You saw that?
I'm a spirit. I see many things. I especially look in on my family.
Well, don't you agree? Agree that she was out of line? The way she babied me? Even when I told her I was doing this to help your spirit rest? to help us all rest easier? To
If you ask me, you got off easy. You're lucky all she did was slap you silly. If I had been there, alive and well, I'd have kicked you upside down and given you a whooping for disrespecting our sister that way.
what? Jacob, you.
But nothing, Peter. Shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. Sonia is your sister. Your older sister at that. It doesn't matter that she's not the head of the family. When she asks you to do something, you do it. End of story.
But you never listened in that way. You're always a free spirit. You never let her boss you around.
Oh, I most certainly did. We were only 2 years apart in age, but she was still my older sister. When mother and father and grandfather weren't present, she was in charge.
I just wanted.
Peter, what in God's name are you trying to do? Taking father's old rifle and going out hunting for that wolf so willy-nilly? Are you mad? You've never fired that thing in your life. That wolf would tear you to pieces before you could get one shot off.
I know how to fire a gun. I'm not stupid.
Clearly you don't, if you couldn't even load it properly.
Jacob, I wanted to do this for you. All I wanted is for that wolf to pay for what he did to you. He killed you. He took you away from me, Sonia, mother, and grandfather.
I understand that, Peter. I do. But you must understand something as well. If you try and get that wolf, try and shoot it dead, you'll be as foolish and stubborn as I was.
As you were.
Mother and grandfather never told you what led to me going after that wolf, did they? Peter, after father passed away, because of grandfather's weakened state, I was the man of the house. While you were off going to school and playing with your friends, I did repairs around the house. I chopped wood for the fireplace, and I hunted for food and tended to the cows and chickens we were raising. Well, that wolf, that very thing you wanted to seek out. The last few weeks before he got to me, he was getting to the chickens and the cows. Sonia, mother, and I kept finding the remains in the chicken coop near the barn. No matter how careful we were, no matter how many traps I set, that blasted wolf just kept nabbing them. Grandfather finally said one morning at breakfast time, "Confound it. If anyone can get that damned wolf, they'll be a hero, an absolute hero." Well, grandfather meant one of the older, more experienced hunters in town. But I thought he was referring to me, almost as if he were saying, "You're the man of the house. You need to take care of this problem." So I took father's old rifle and set out to find the wolf. Now, I had been out hunting with father before, but only for deer or rabbits. I had never hunted something that could hunt back. I, fool that I was, thought it would be just as simple. As you can see, it was not.
You were missing for almost a day and a half. I remember how frightened Mother was, how afraid Sonia and I were, how Grandfather begged some of the hunters to form a search party to find you.
And find me they did, face down in the snow. I don't think I had time to get one shot off before that wolf set upon me. And Peter, brother, I don't want the same thing to happen to you.
But Jacob, I was just trying to be brave, like you always were.
Peter, there's a difference between being brave and foolish. I was foolish. What I should have done, the brave thing to have done, was to go to one of the hunters and ask for help, even if it meant, in my mind, losing a bit of pride. I wanted very much to show Mother and Grandfather I could be the man of the house, with Father having passed away. But I made a prideful mistake by trying to take something of this magnitude into my own hands.
I never knew.
You know now.
Jacob, what can I do? Please, now more than ever. I need to know. I'm so confused now, so torn between what to do. Help me, Jacob. Speak words of comfort to me. Tell me what I should do.
My honest and true advice: take Father's rifle, turn around, and go back to the cottage.
Just like that? Go?
Just like that.
But avenging you, helping your spirit rest.
I understand. And it makes me very happy to see your bravery, to see you wanting to avenge me. But Peter, it needs to be done the proper way, by the proper people. I know your heart hurts, but if that wolf were to get you too, it'll destroy Mother, destroy Grandfather, destroy Sonia.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Go back to the cottage and apologize to her, not just for me, but for yourself. Please, Peter, I don't ask for much. Please, little brother.
Okay, for you. I will.
Good. Peter, I'll be avenged someday. It may not be right away, but it'll come. It'll come. No matter how much it feels delayed, take heart in the fact it'll happen someday.
Yes, I will.
Peter, I'm very proud of you. I always was, and I always will be. Remember that. But I'll be even prouder if you can go back to the kind, fun-loving, happy-go-lucky kid you were. Okay?
Okay.
Jacob nods again, and as a flash of light engulfs the stage, he seemingly vanishes. Peter looks around silently. Seeing his brother gone, Peter slowly picks up the rifle. He sighs a sad, though somewhat comforted sigh now.
I love you, Jacob. Thank you.
Slowly, he begins to walk off stage as we black out briefly. Set change. It is now the evening time as we see lights up on the interior of the cottage. It is a sparsely decorated interior. Sonia is alone on stage, standing by a kitchen area and stirring some oatmeal like gruel in a makeshift pot with a serving spoon. She does this in silence as Peter slowly walks in. He timidly, remorsefully, walks over and stands next to her, watching her in silence for several moments. Soon he speaks.
Hello, Sonia. Your sister.
Hello.
You are making dinner, I see.
Mother was exhausted from taking care of grandfather all day. So yes. Yes, I am.
I bet it would be wonderful. I always did think you were a wonderful cook.
Thank you. It's oatmeal. It's not much, I know. But it'll fill your stomach. Grab a dish, and I'll give you some. It'll be ready in a moment.
Peter nods and grabs a dish from nearby, then sits down by a table. Sonia takes the pot of oatmeal and brings it over to him, then scoops out 2 helpings of oatmeal onto his plate.
Is there any cinnamon I can sprinkle on it?
No, we ran out of it. But Mother and I are due to go to the market tomorrow. I'll make sure to get some then.
Okay.
A long silence. Peter looks to Sonia. She looks back. Both look ready to forgive one another.
I'm sorry, Sonia. Truly sorry.
I am too.
I spoke of anger, frustration. But not to you, never to you.
I know.
I said some awful, hurtful things. And put my hand on you. It was despicable of me. I humbly ask for your forgiveness, Sonia, your sister.
I said and did some horrible things as well. I am just as guilty. Slapping you the way I did. Saying I wouldn't care if you were hurt, or worse. That was terrible. So very terrible.
The two are silent once more. Peter slowly stands up and he hugs his sister tightly and lovingly. She smiles and hugs him back, gently kissing the top of his head as she does.
Let's never fight like this again.
No, never again.
I love you, Sonia, your sister.
As I you, Peter, my sweet, sweet little brother.
The two break their hug as Sonia calmly but assertively speaks.
I do mean what I say though, Peter. I don't want you chasing this wolf anymore, going through this madness of a quest for revenge. I know it hurts that Jacob is gone, but the wounds will heal. Maybe not fully, of course. But in time, it'll get better.
I want to believe that, but I just don't know how.
I understand.
I feel like I'll never find peace until I get that wolf. Until it's killed, gone for good.
I know. But Peter, please, for me, you must let it go. Let the hunters in the village if you must. But I don't want to hear about or see you sneaking off with father's rifle anymore. I meant what I said. If something were to happen to you, my heart would crumble for good. I'd never be able to recover.
Sonia, I can't promise you to stop completely. All I can do is say, I'll try.
Try?
Try. I know I should just let the hunters take care of it. Let the hunters blast that wolf into pieces, but it'll always eat away at me. That gnawing feeling that I didn't avenge Jacob. But for you, I'll speak to one of the hunters in town tomorrow. But what if it takes too long to get the job done? They just brushed me off as a child. I'm grabbing father's rifle again. And I'm going to find that wolf. No matter if he tries to or succeeds in maiming me or not. I will get him. You heard me, Jacob. For you. For you, my brother. I'm going to find that wolf.
Sonia goes to speak, but, seeing the determination, the serious look in her brother's eyes, she thinks better of it, at least for now. The two hug once more as Peter casts a determined look towards the door to the cottage, and some ending music plays.